Recording, share. Okay, so this is YSU PenguinPulse, our beautiful homepage. And to get here, all you have to do is either memorize or bookmark ysu.givepulse.com, or you can also get to this by going to the YSU website, clicking on the portal, and then finding the little box that says Student E-Services Index. And there's a link to YSU PenguinPulse on like the very bottom of the list, so you can always find it there too if you need to. But this is our homepage. So when you come to this link, you will most likely be logged out, and you can log in by going to this user drop down and clicking login. Now, as a YSU student, you automatically already have an account. You don't have to create a new account. So you would log in via YSU, and it will ask you to, the first thing, it'll just ask you for your YSU email and password. So you use the same YSU email and password that you use to get your email or anything like that. And of course, there's always like some code that you have to do. Sorry. Yeah. Verify, and then you're in. So once you're in, if I get in, you'll see I added a photo, so you'll see that you're logged in at this little user dropdown, but you will now be able to see all the volunteer opportunities and register for them as like under your YSU account. So like I said, this is our homepage, and I kind of wanted to take you through some of the features on the homepage first. You can see that to the right are the admins. There are several, so really anyone in the Honors College that you know or work with, you could ask a question to about YSU PenguinPulse, or you could just click on message under my name, shoot me a message, and I will be glad to answer it for you too. I also wanted to point out there's a nice little link to video tutorials on our YouTube page. So we have a lot of like how to add an impact, how to, basics for new students kind of videos. So you can always check those out too if there's like something specific you forgot how to do, or just wanted to see some other features of PenguinPulse, you could go there. But as you scroll down, you'll see a lot of the opportunities that are listed for students to sign up for to volunteer at different organizations. You can also get to that list by just clicking on this events tab at the top, and you'll be taken to the same list. But you can, it's nice on this page, you can filter by different categories to find different opportunities that you might be interested in. So I usually tell people for sure, like click on type and choose volunteer service opportunity. I mean, that's mostly what's here, but sometimes you might find an event, like a community engagement event rather than a volunteer opportunity, such as like we have a SCEGS lecture series that's open to the public and all students. So, they might promote their event here. So it's not necessarily about volunteer opportunities. So by selecting that, and clicking apply, you can see all of the volunteer opportunities listed. The other filter that I really like is this causes filter. So if you click it, you can see there's like a ton of different causes. You might be interested in one, just personally, or you could also find one based on your major. So if you're an education major, say, you can click on children and youth, click apply, and you will see like different, a lot of school related, typically volunteer opportunities pop up related to children and youth. So, it's always nice to find a volunteer experience that can help you with your major, for some service learning. So that's always a nice thing to filter for. But for the most part, I mean, you could just look through the list and not have to filter for anything, and you will still find a number of really good, volunteer opportunities. I'm actually going to click on one. So I'm going to click on this Saturday of Caring 2025. This is one of our big events that we have throughout the year. It is with United Way of Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley. And students and faculty and staff go there once a month on a Saturday in the morning, pack a bunch of food up for families in need, and then deliver it to those families. So that's, like I said, once a month. So they have their whole 2025 schedule listed. On the event page, you could kind of see all of the main information here to the left on the top. The dates. You can see that. Oh, is someone asking a question? Sorry if I'm interrupting any questions. You could always put them in the chat too, and I'll come back to them so you don't forget them at the end. I just don't want to miss anyone's question. But you can see how many spots are remaining, all that information. And as you scroll down, you could see kind of what the description is, what you might be doing as a volunteer for this organization. And then if they do have shifts, they will be listed underneath that description. And you can see which ones, which shifts are full, which ones you can register for. So if, I'm interested in this July packing on July 19th from 8 to 10 a.m., I can register for that here. And then it's going to ask me again, I think, for the shift I'm interested in. So I'll choose that, click next. And then once you agree to, just their terms, you click next and you're registered for that event. So it's really easy. And if they don't have shifts, say it's just a one-day thing from 9 to 5 and they're looking for volunteers. The shifts wouldn't be listed here. You can just click this register button up top here and agree to the terms again, and you'll be signed up for that event. And once you're signed up, you should receive different reminders, usually maybe a week in advance, but definitely 24 hours in advance, just to kind of remind you, you signed up for this event. I'm sure you got one for this virtual Penguin Pulse training. And it comes from Youngstown State University. But if you look at the email address, I think it's YSU at Give Pulse or something like that. So that's from the Give Pulse or Penguin Pulse platform, reminding you that you signed up for the event. It'll give you all the details and everything. And that's just a little reminder you can kind of look forward to, so that you don't forget. And we do like to, a lot of our community partners, do take the time to learn this platform and to, partner with us to provide volunteer opportunities for students. So, if you do register for something, really try to be there. If something comes up, I mean, sometimes things do, just make sure you cancel in a timely manner. You could come back to that page and it would say, this button would say edit registration, and you can cancel from there if you need to. But just kind of, being polite, I guess, and giving them enough time to find other volunteers, or just giving them notice so that they're not expecting 20 people and only 3 show up. But let's see, let's go back to the main page. So that's how you find events listed here. I do also want to point out that we have 2 other tabs here, community partners and subgroups. Subgroups just mainly means YSU offices or organizations. Um, and if you click on either of those tabs, you can find a way to find events through these lists as well. So for instance, I clicked on community partners. It shows a full list of all the partners who are on YSU Penguin Pulse and posts different opportunities. If you have a certain organization that you're really interested in, you can always find them here, click on their page. And so, I clicked on United Way, and that Saturday of Caring event shows up on their page as well. So that's one way you can kind of browse organizations that you might be interested in and keep tabs on the events that they post throughout the year too. And a really easy way to do that too, without even having to go on Penguin Pulse, is to I'm already a part of this group, but if you go to an organization that you're interested in, this button will say join. And if you click it, then you will receive email notifications anytime they post a new opportunity. So it might say something like, United Way posted, this event, the Saturday of Caring event. And you can click on it through your email and just be like alerted anytime they post a new opportunity. So that's kind of a nice way to find different opportunities if there's like a certain cause or group that you're really interested in. The same goes for the YSU subgroups. So if you click on that subgroups tab from the main page, you will see all of the YSU pages that are here. And I do want to point out, so if you go to the Sokolov Honors College, this is a great one to check all the time too, because joining is disabled on this one. So as you guys become honor students, we just automatically put you in this group. And this group has a lot of private volunteer opportunities just for honors students. So for instance, this honors involvement, the virtual Penguin Pulse training, since it's tailored to honors students, it's only going to show up here on this, Sokolov Honors College group page. So this is another nice page to either bookmark or, just keep tabs on and see like all of the different honors related or honors, private to honors opportunities that are going on throughout the year. So this is a great page to check out. And the other two ways that you can count on hearing from us about volunteer opportunities is through email. So you probably already saw the Sunday night weekly fills that come through your email from the Honors College. These are great. Please read them. You will be told 100 times to please read them, but they really are a great resource. They come every Sunday for you. They have a list of everything going on in honors, but there's also a section in there for volunteer opportunities. So if you go right to that page or right to that section every Sunday and look through the list, they're always updated with like up and coming events that you might want to check out or register for, and you could just click the link and come to Penguin Pulse that way. The other email you want to watch out for is the community engagement or the Office of Community Engagement monthly newsletter. So that newsletter features a lot of, it also comes from us, but it features a lot of different community engagement events or spotlights or news going on in the university. It's tailored to students, and it also has a long list of volunteer opportunities that are out there. So those are two emails that you can look for monthly and weekly to see what's going on and what you can volunteer for. Okay, so that's how you find different opportunities. I want to point out too, like if there's something that you're already involved with, or an organization that you already volunteer for, that of course counts too. This is just a resource, if you're struggling to find something, it's a way to connect with our local community partners and kind of network that way, because the people who are on Penguin Pulse and posting these opportunities, they are very involved in the community. They are people that you want to know, and get involved with and help. And you never know where it might lead you to, as in your career or after college or as a lifelong volunteer. So definitely check out these volunteer opportunities, but of course you can also do your own thing too, and that counts for service hours. Now, once you register for these opportunities, and do them, there is a way on Penguin Pulse to also track your hours and your engagement. So I'm going to pretend for a minute that I volunteered at Saturday of Caring and recently, and I haven't filled out an impact yet. On Penguin Pulse, an impact is just it's what they call the record of volunteerism. So if you need to track your hours, you're going to create an impact or add an impact. So if it's from an event that you registered for on Penguin Pulse, you'll go back to that page, that event page that you signed up for initially, and you'll click Add Impact right here. And this is after you volunteer, of course. But if you do that from the event page, a lot of this information is already filled out for you. So that's nice. It has the organization already listed, the event. You can choose the shift that you volunteered for. And once you do that, even the date is preloaded for you, which is nice. Then there are just a couple other questions that you have to answer. Is this impact for a course? Sometimes, especially if you are in you'll see that as you register for courses and as you get to know, different opportunities out there, there are courses that are tagged as community engaged learning courses. So they would definitely have some sort of volunteer component to them, community engaged or service learning aspect to them. So for instance, if you're in one of those courses and you completed this Saturday of Caring for that, you would click yes and then select which course it is for. And then that way that course instructor is just notified of your impact. So, and it shows up, on your record too. I'll just choose one because it'll probably make me. And then scrolling down, you can choose whether you donated your time, money, goods, training, research, if you voted. Usually it's time, so whatever you volunteered, or however many hours you volunteered for, you put that there. And then there are a couple questions that we want you to answer on the impact form. So first, just describe your experience. We just want to know who benefited from your engagement and what did you do in your volunteer role. So for Saturday of Caring, different families in need in the Mahoning Valley benefited, and in my volunteer role, I packed bananas in an assembly line and packed bags or delivered to the families in need. So it's really simple. It's nothing like that has to be super long here. What areas or area of concern did your engagement address? Choose all that apply. So for Saturday of Caring again, the issue that was addressed would be food security, for example, or elderly, if we provided food to elderly people who can't get out to grocery shop on their own. So it's kind of just like, if you're in if you volunteer at Oh Wow Children's Science Center, you would choose education and maybe what else? well, education or other, and you could write it in, or if none of these apply, none. But it's pretty straightforward. And then just which county that your engagement took place. This is just more for our back end data. Um, and if you don't know, you could always choose other two. That's fine. And then the last part that we definitely want you to answer on each impact form is your reflection. So this is where, this is more of the question that digs a little deeper. So how did, like, after you volunteered here, how did your perspective change of, the organization or the cause? How did this deepen you personally, or, your studies in your major? What did it mean to you? What did you benefit from? How did others benefit? How did it make you feel? All that kind of stuff. So, you guys know what a reflection is, so just dig a little
Oh yeah.
deeper for this one.
Mm.
Like I said, these are pretty straightforward, these first ones, but part of volunteering is kind of taking a step back and taking time to reflect, and just process, kind of what went on, what you learned, and just how it changed you. Or if it didn't change you, you could put that too, but just taking some time to think about it. And then the last thing, you can always make your impact private if you want. As an admin, like, of the entire site, I would still be able to see it just to track it. But if you didn't want it showing up anywhere else, you could always make it private. It's really not a huge deal or anything. And always make sure that Youngstown State University is on your sharing, so that as an admin I can see it even if you make it private, and we can make sure you're getting your hours accounted for. So once you do that, you would click add impact. I'm not going to do that because it would go to Anna, the admin, and she'll be like, I didn't see you at your March event, Andrea. So but once you do click add impact, your impact will go to the person who is in charge of the event. And all they would have to do is click either verify, like, yes, this person volunteered, or they will dispute your impact. And if they do, you will get a little email notification. And read like, if you click on the link to see why your impact was disputed, sometimes it's just like a really minor thing that you might have to edit. It doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't do it, but it might just be like, well, I'm not or could you add a little more to your reflection? Or I'm not the person that needs to verify this. Could you change your verifier? Something like that. So you always kind of want to see what the reason was. It doesn't mean that it won't count. It just means you might have to change something minor, or you only volunteer, or you volunteered 4 hours and you only listed 2. So you might want to change that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. I do also want to show you real quick how to add an impact that is not through a Penguin Pulse event. So, like I said, if you are doing your own volunteer work, of course, that counts for service, and you can also track that on YSU Penguin Pulse. And we encourage you to do that too, so that we can just see your total hours for the year. So to do that, if you start at the main YSU page, you'll see a huge add impact button here. Do not click it. It's so confusing, but I'll tell you why in a minute, but do not click this one because you'll just have to go back and redo it, and it's annoying. So instead, go to this user dropdown and click add impact here. And the reason is when you do this, one of the first questions it asks you is find the group or organization where you made an impact. If you click that big button on the YSU page, it's going to just automatically populate YSU like as the organization that is benefiting by your service. And it just throws like everyone off, because it's just like, unless you do volunteer for YSU helping with like, orientation or an open house or something, it's going to be inaccurate. So avoid that button, choose the user drop down, add impact button instead. Okay. So, and I just mentioned that because everybody makes that mistake and then it's just annoying to have to change. And I don't want you guys to have to do more work than is necessary. Um so for this, you can always I would suggest starting with the search bar and checking to see if your organization is already in the network. So I volunteer a lot with Howland Schools, so I'm going to check and see if maybe they are already a group that I just missed. They are. So I could just click here and it would show up there. If not, say, say you search and nothing comes up in the search for your organization. All you would have to do is click this can't find it button. And then you can just type in whatever organization here. Type in organization. And you would just have to put the city and state that you volunteered in or that the organization is in. So you can always just write in your own organization if it's not already in the network. And then pretty much it's the same form. It's asking if this is for a course or not. The only extra step you'll have to do if you add your own like outside impact is provide the verifier's name. So they need a name and an email. So that would be the only thing that you would have to, like if you have a supervisor that you work with for your volunteer hours, just grabbing their name and email and putting them here is the only extra step you'll have to do. And then, putting the date, the time, and all the rest of the questions are the same. Okay. Any questions so far? You could just shout them out if you have them. Okay.
How would we log something like this? Like and not necessarily like hours, like in involvement. How do you log in?
Great question. So for YSU PenguinPulse, it is only concerned with volunteer hours. So adding an impact for an involvement, you don't have to do that step. And you shouldn't do that step because it won't make sense, and it won't count toward anything. For the most part, I believe involvements are like a separate tracking of your own,
Okay.
keeping track of. You'll also in Intro to Honors go over like things like that, like how to track involvements, or how to make sure you're within all your requirements other than the volunteer hours.
Okay.
But yeah, that's why I put on this event. I think I even put, you don't have to create an impact for
Okay.
attending this. It's just you can count it in your own kind of personal record that
Okay.
you have an involvement.
Okay.
But great question. Um, and I guess too, I kind of want to go over while we're talking about outside impacts, what counts as volunteerism. So and usually it's any um, service that you do for an organization or YSU, like a YSU office, for instance, helping with an open house for the Honors College, that can count toward your service hours. Or any, nonprofit organization, any community partner that you see in Penguin Pulse, or any group in need, as long as you're not getting paid for it, and as long as it's not like a family member type situation. So sometimes will get students who count hours like helping for their dad's business. That's not quite the volunteerism we're looking for. So that doesn't necessarily count. I mean, it's great. It's great for you personally, for career, even experience, but just not for volunteerism or cutting grandma's grass. We always say it doesn't count for your volunteer hours. Or walking your friend's dog doesn't count for volunteer hours.
Mm-mm.
Also, any work that you do, like as you get into your student organizations in college, any work that you do for through your student organization for like a philanthropy or a group or a cause can count as service hours. But if you do, like if you volunteer within your group to sell brownies at a bake sale to raise money for your student organization, that does not count as volunteer hours, because really you're the money goes toward you and the student organization, and it's really like more of an extracurricular type thing. But if you do a fundraiser for breast cancer research, that one of our sorority Zeta, the Zetas always have a big philanthropy and events that they do for that cause throughout the year. That counts as volunteer
Uh,
hours. Or Gwinathon, any work you put in for Gwinathon, which is like a dance marathon that they hold for Akron Children's Museum every year, that would count, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
I see. So anything that needs to be count at that need anything that can be counted as an impact should be done for the greater good, not for yourself.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. That's a good, like, and you guys kind of know, if I feel like if you ever have any questions, you could always ask us too. But for the most part, you kind of know when it's, volunteerism, and when it's just like, I need to get 5 more hours. How can I get 5 more hours before the end of spring, kind of thing? So, by helping grandma around the house. So that's not quite, you know, what we're looking for, I guess. But
No.
I did want to show you before I stop sharing my screen too, where to find all this. So as you register for things, as you fill out impacts, where can you find all that in Penguin Pulse, like under your personal information? So if you go to this user drop down menu and choose dashboard, and wait a couple seconds, you can see all of the information that you have on Penguin Pulse. So, for instance, if you did join any of those groups by clicking that join button, you can see all of them here. You could see what events you've registered for, and it kind of gives you like the little status of that registration here. So, if you canceled something, it would show up. Sometimes different events will check you in, and that might turn to attended. But if it doesn't say attended, don't worry about it, because eh, usually they don't check you into the event. You just fill out the impact and they verify it, and that's fine. So you can see which ones you're registered for, and you could always, click on the event and go back to it for all the full details. You can see all of your impacts here as well. You can update them from here. So if, say, you do get one of those emails and it says, this impact was disputed, can you just change the hours, and then I'll verify it, kind of thing. You can update that here, and then you would just resubmit it, and it would go through to be verified. Let's see. And then classes, if you do have any of those um, community engaged learning classes and need to find the page, you can just click on your classes here and be taken to the group page. Most of your classes will not use YSU Penguin Pulse, but the ones that are community engaged might. So you could just easily jump to their group page by clicking here. And if you donate anything, it would show up here too. The other piece I wanted to show you, because it is really nice, especially by the end of your 4 years here, if you are applying for grad school or for a job or anything like that, and you need a record of all your volunteerism to kind of staple to your application, not staple, but to include in your application or include in your resume. Penguin Pulse automatically makes one for you as you complete your impact. So you could go to your user drop down again and click on impact summary. And for any verified impacts that have gone through to your organizer and been verified, they will show up here in a nice list. It will list the amount of time you gave, who the organization was, the date. So that's kind of nice too, because you're always going to have to eventually do this for some sort of resume or CV, and it just kind of does it for you. So that's one of the nice little benefits for students in using Penguin Pulse, especially after you build up a lot of volunteerism. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second, but I could go back. Oh, if you volunteer at the same place weekly, do you have to make an impact? Oh, good question. Ooh, this is actually a tough question too. So the question is, if you volunteer, weekly for something, do you have to create an impact for each time you volunteer? There are timesheets on YSU Penguin Pulse. They, however, are changing in a month. So I don't exactly know what the change is yet. Let me go back here and see. But there is a way that you can add a timesheet instead of an impact each time. You would just add to the timesheet, a date and a time given, and it would all just show up on that timesheet. Let me see. Okay, so if you want to add a timesheet, you would go to that add impact option from your drop down. And for at least another month, this button will be here. I'm sure they're not going to take it away. They just might change the process in some way in a month. But I will let you guys know too, if a major change happens. But you would click add timesheet and list everything as is, but it has the opportunity to add multiple dates. So you could do this at the end, or if you want to do it monthly, for 4 different sessions, you can do that. However, it would be easiest for you to track. If you're going to be doing it 20 times in a year, I might say to track monthly as you go so that you don't miss anything or forget anything. But you can also go in and edit your timesheet. So you could do it, one date at a time and just go back in and edit it. But that's basically the difference in the impact form if you do choose that timesheet option. Okay. What other questions do you guys have? Anything?
Well,
okay. Oh, go ahead.
not really.
It's pretty straightforward. And to be honest, in your Intro to Honors seminar, you're going to go over this again. And we can send you this video. I will be sending in that community engagement newsletter that comes monthly, different tips from Penguin Pulse or updates from Penguin Pulse. So we will definitely keep you in the loop as long as you check your email and read it. You should be fine, or show up to seminar and pay attention. It's really easy after you go ahead and make one impact and kind of get a feel for it. Trying to
I'm
think.
sorry if this question was already asked,
No, go ahead.
but how many hours per semester per year required in volunteer work?
Sure. For honors, it's 60 per year. So that year starts in the summer. So anything you do this summer will count toward that 60 hours for your upcoming year. So summer, fall, spring. It ends at the end of spring, and by, the end of spring semester of 2026, you should have at least 60 hours.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying it's 60 hours a year, and I can start during the summer.
Yes. Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I mean, since you guys already have an account in Penguin Pulse, you can log in, go to that event tab and start registering for anything that's out there that you want, or just keep doing your own thing and make sure you track it in your impacts, and that will count.
Is there a
Awesome.
certain number of involvements that you have to have, like with honors?
Yes, and I don't want to say the number right now because I don't know if it's been tweaked, and I don't want to give you the wrong information, but I can definitely get back to you about that. I'm going to take down your name too. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I will check on that
Sweet.
and email you back. Any other questions? Okay. Oh,
Okay, just out of curiosity, can I ask you something?
yeah.
So, so my question is, you see, oh gosh, how can I explain it? So, so I'm basically searching for volunteer opportunities that sound like something that I can do with a special gift I have, and that gift is music. Like, is there a way for me to
Yeah.
just search for certain ways to volunteer with a specific action in mind?
Sorry, it's storming where I'm at, and I don't know. I just got kicked out. So I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh,
mean to leave right in the middle of your question.
oh,
So your question was about music. Yes. There What I would suggest is getting involved with different music student
oh,
organizations. There always might be volunteer opportunities for that. Also checking with any, like, the Dana School of Music subgroup page on YSU Penguin Pulse, maybe joining that group so you can stay up to date on anything that they post that volunteers are needed for, or just you know, sometimes students come up with service projects of their own. They kind of run it through someone in the honors college to, like a staff member to kind of help get it started. And, we might even put it up on Penguin Pulse then for other honors students to join in to help you with. So that's always an
awesome.
option too.
So,
Yeah.
so you're telling me that there's a way for me to search for certain volunteer opportunities with a specific action in mind, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the causes would be the one filter you'd want to go to and choose. I think there's one that's like arts and culture that might um, be one of the closest ones to music to see, what's out there already. I do want to note that a lot of volunteer opportunities in the summer, like, they kind of dwindle in the summer because they know students are off campus. So once fall starts, there are a lot more that pop up. So I don't know if you will get any music ones, over the summer. There is the Summer Festival of the Arts going on in July. That might be something you want to take part in. because they do have live music at that, but I don't know specifically any off the top of my head that deal directly
Okay,
with music.
that's fine. I'll just do my own research.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. But you know, like I
Honestly,
said, if you ever have an idea, so I don't know if you've heard of the transcribing club at YSU. It's an honors organization, and that was started by a student who had an idea, and it's turned into honor students transcribing like 4% of the entire Library of Congress's documents. So, you know, there's always opportunity for you to kind of create your own service projects too.
okay.
But thank you guys for attending. I do want to let you guys out a little early if I can, but email me with any of your questions. You could always just like message me right on Penguin Pulse on that main homepage, and I will be glad to answer any for you.
Sweet.
But have a great rest of your summer. Get some volunteer hours in, and we will see you in the fall.
Gotcha. Enjoy.
Thanks,
Thank you so
guys.
much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.